Hello, I'm Kekker's Boy, and this is Reserved Responses. There are plenty of places on the internet where you can hear someone rant at things. Plenty of places where you can hear people go nuts, go crazy. But here in this place, I'm hoping to provide some thought, some conversation, where we can just sit back and think about things. Everyone is welcome, and all opinions are considered, even the stupid ones. As long as you remember that we're all here to talk about things we love, and we're all fans. I promise to give you honest thoughts. I promise to give you real thoughts. But what I'm also going to do is think about what I'm saying. I'm going to think about what it all means, what it might mean, why some crazy things might be done with some characters and properties that we love. And to get things started, let's talk about this most recent controversy. Batman issue 50, written by Tom King, art by Mikhail Janin. Now, this is a story that's been building for some time, with crossovers and advertising hype, and yet here we are in the actual issue, the wedding of the century, and it doesn't happen. We have Selina running off at the altar, so to speak, because she's afraid that Bruce being happy will make him unable to be Batman. And so she's sacrificing her own happiness for the sake of the world. Yeah, it's stupid for the characters to think that. Of course it is. I think it's kind of the point, though. Like, if you step back and see it from, like, the reveal, what this was all supposed to be, how it's a plot against Batman by some of his villains, we have to see this is just another part of the story that's just really getting into the next gear of what's going on. Was it a good idea to tease the audience with the actual wedding? Perhaps, perhaps not, but when I was younger, I used to read lots and lots of previews magazines. It was a big book at the comic book stores where it'd show upcoming things and issues that would be given out to the comic shop owners so that they would know which things to order, which things might be important, and have an idea of what to stock in the store. Now, when you have those things, and it's supposed to give you an idea what to pick up, well, you have to weigh how much to reveal the story and how much not to. If everyone knows that, like, the writers know that this point in the story is not the actual wedding, but when you're reading it, you're supposed to think that is, because the ending is supposed to be a surprise. It's supposed to be some kind of shock. Now, yes, we've been through lots of surprises and lots of shocks, and these two have been running around for 70 plus years. Do I think we're past the point of the will they, won't they? Yeah, I do. But I say we step back and look and see how this is going to develop. Because, yeah, they didn't get married. But the way it ends with him rushing off into the night to try and find her and villains behind the whole plot, they're going somewhere. I wouldn't jump to conclusions and say that they're just not going to be getting married. I always say, judge a story when it's done. Because a twist might look terrible when you're right in the middle of it, but in hindsight, sometimes the story will all come together. My biggest issue is things like the entire issue getting released in the New York Times, so that a lot of people's first interaction with this story and with this twist is a newspaper article and not holding it in your hands and reading it and experiencing the emotions as the writer intended. For that, blame DC. Don't blame the writers. They have no control over how a book is advertised. They weren't responsible for all of the page inserts. They weren't responsible. Most of the time, they aren't even responsible for the interviews. They have press bites and releases of what they're allowed to say for their story. But also there's what they're allowed to say so that they don't ruin their story. Bruce is gonna find her. They're gonna fight. Villains are gonna probably show up. But right now, I'm willing to see where this is going. One thing I really didn't actually like with the issue is how nearly the whole thing was done in narration. Though McHale's art was spot on in showing the older appearances of the characters. In fact, I'd love to have an art book of this, different covers, different appearances of Batman and Catwoman throughout history. Oh, I think that'd be great. So, what I say is sit back, relax, think about the story, ignore the controversy, and just see how the pages, the images, the story makes you feel. Try and figure out what the writer's doing. Try and figure out why he's doing what he's doing. It's not to tease the audience. It's not to insult the audience. And try and keep stuff simple. These are people that love the characters just as much as we do. The option to stop reading it until another story comes along and we're out of this soap opera, will they, won't they nonsense. Yeah, that's there. It's on the table. I've many times dropped a book when I didn't like a certain story arc and then picked it up later on. That's one of the great things about comics. There's always another new writer and another new story just on the horizon. Whatever you think, enjoy your comics. I know I will, and I hope to see you again. If you want me to talk about more upcoming stories or older tales that pissed you off, or just want someone else's thoughts on, well, send me a message in the comments. Until then, I remain reserved.